Hi, this is Chris Chaffin at Motor Legends. Today I'm going to talk to you about a new jacket from Halvarssons. It's a Halvarssons that is intended to replace the long-standing Wien jacket. It's a jacket called the Solberg. As long as we have been associated with Halvarssons, there's been a mid-length jacket with side adjusters at the waist. There's been a jacket like that at the heart of their collection. Initially there was a jacket called the Prime, then that was replaced by the Wien. And so popular was that jacket that the company was always fearful of what might happen if they replaced it. Well, a couple of years ago, Halvarssons was acquired by another company called D3O, and it would seem that the new owners are somewhat less concerned. I'm not sure, however, that we are less concerned. We've often spoken about the Wien being the perfect jacket for 95% of motorcyclists. Well, the new Solberg jacket, this jacket is different. We admit that we would have preferred something longer, more like the Wien, but that boat has sailed. So let's talk through the replacement, explain what we like about it, and perhaps the things we don't like quite so much. So let's talk about one of those elephants that sometimes finds its way into the room. In a world that seems at times obsessed by the benefits of laminated motorcycle wear, the Solberg is only a drop liner jacket. So many bikers will, on principle, dismiss it on the basis that they don't want a jacket that they're going to get wet in. Clearly, that's absolute nonsense. You won't get wet wearing the Solberg. Yes, if you're riding in 4 or more hours of heavy rain, the jacket will absorb rain and will become heavy. But you have to ask yourself, how often do you actually ride in 4 hours of rain? For most of us, myself included, that is once in a blue moon. And on such a day, if you were to put a waterproof over the top of your jacket, over the top of a drop liner jacket like this, you'll have created a solution that's actually better than laminate. Now, a more legitimate concern in this regard, I think, comes from those who commute more than an hour or so into work. And what will happen with those guys is that if it rains really heavily into work, the jacket will get damp, but because a drop liner jacket takes longer to dry out, they'll maybe be putting on a damp jacket in the evening when it comes to go home, and that's not particularly nice. Again, a waterproof jacket over the top on the way into work would solve the problem. But remember, we're talking about a pretty serious commute here. So we admit that for some people, not a lot of people, but for some people, a laminate jacket is still the best solution. But for most of us, it's not. And you should not forget that there are distinct advantages with a drop liner jacket. A drop liner jacket is going to be more comfortable. It will be warmer. It will be less prone to failure because laminated jackets are far more complicated to make. And because of that complexity in terms of manufacturer, on a pari passu basis, a drop liner jacket is going to be less expensive. So don't turn your nose up at the Solberg because it's not laminated. For many, a jacket like this is going to be the way to go. Of course, if you're someone whose opinions have been formed by all those experts that you come across on the internet and on forums, you might decide differently. Anyway, let's now talk about the Solberg in a bit more depth. The most immediate difference between the Wien and the new Solberg, as I've already alluded to, is in the length of the jacket. The Wien was a longer jacket and it had elasticated straps at the side. And what those allowed us to do was to fit the jacket to a wide array of shapes. Now the Solberg has elastication here up the side, so it's got elasticated panels, but the only adjusters on the jacket are here on the hips, and they're not quite so effective. However, we've all tried the jacket on, everyone here at Motor Legends, and it seems to fit most of us okay. But only time will tell whether it's going to work as well on those people at either end of the spectrum. In other words, the super slim and the not so super slim. We'll just have to see. The chassis of the jacket is made from a similar material as the Wien. This jacket, however, the Solberg, has leather patches here on the shoulders and on the elbows. And it may be that they are there partly for aesthetic reasons, but because leather is particularly abrasion resistant, it's going to do no harm. It's going to add to the jacket's strength. The bottom line is that this jacket rates as highly as any waterproof jacket under EN 17092, and that's a AA rating. The armour in the shoulders and the elbows is level 2, and it's much nicer than the rather agricultural armour that you used to have in the Wien jacket. The back protector affixes into this jacket by Velcro. Now, Halvarssons does offer a back protector, but we would avoid it at all costs. It's like a surfboard, it's horrid. So we don't even stock it. We would go for a D3O back protector, a size T8, and we do one that has got Velcro attached. It'll go in, you won't even know you're wearing a back protector. The jacket also has pockets inside the main zip that are going to allow you to wear Halvarssons chest protector if you choose to do so. The bottom line, in terms of protection and safety, we've got absolutely no issues with the Solberg. For waterproofing, the Solberg comes with Halvarssons' famous Dryway Plus membrane that they've used for many years across all of their garments. It's a membrane that does everything that it's meant to, and certainly with the Wien jacket, we almost never had any waterproofing issues. The venting on the Solberg also looks pretty decent. We've got these zips that run all the way up the sleeves, so if you undo the zip from the bottom, that's going to open the cuff enough to get a glove underneath there, but once you've done that, you can lower the zip all the way down, and basically the entire sleeves will vent. You also get these vents at the side of the chest, and at the back of the jacket there's a permanently open exhaust vent, but it's covered by a storm flap, so even though it's open all the time, rain is never going to get in there. The main zip here is a water-resistant zip, not a fully waterproof zip, but to tell the truth, these days that's pretty much the case for all brands, including Rucker. And the issue is that the zip is backed by a storm flap, so if any rain does, in heavy rain, if some moisture does get through that zip, there's a storm flap that runs behind it that's going to run down and out of the jacket, so you're not going to get wet in this jacket. Now, there is one issue with drop liner jackets, and it's about air coming into the vents, because on a drop liner jacket, if air comes through the vents, it's still got to pass through a waterproof membrane that sits behind the main chassis of the jacket. It means that drop liner jackets still vents, but you don't get that direct to body ventilation that you do, for example, on a laminate jacket. The problem with the Solberg is that it also has a fixed Outlast lining. Now, Outlast is fantastic stuff. It's a temperature regulator. It's going to help you stay warm in the winter, but it's another impediment to air flowing into the jacket. I've got to say that for most of us, most of the time in the UK, that won't be a problem. But if you wanted to go touring in Italy or southern Spain, then I think that is going to compromise the jacket a little bit. Most of the other stuff on the jacket, I've got to say, is pretty much largely a detail. You've got a nicely lowered tail at the back of the jacket. You've got 3 external pockets. You've then got one more on the inside of the jacket. There's some reflective detailing here on the sleeve, and obviously you've got a zip that's going to now enable you to attach the jacket to any Halvarssons pant, or indeed any Rucker pant, because Halvarssons and Rucker share the same zips. On the Wien, we used to have a storm collar. There's not a storm collar with this jacket. It doesn't come as standard with one, but Halvarssons does a couple that will work just as well. We will miss the Wien jacket. It has long been a favourite of ours. But the Solberg looks as though it's also shaping up to be a fine jacket. It's not like the Wien, but frankly, we here at Motor Legends may just have to learn to get over it. The Wien was meant to be paired with a drop liner pant, a pant called the W pant, but that pant has now been discontinued. So currently on a technical level, there's no matching pant for the Solberg. But for us here at Motor Legends, that's not a problem, because we always used to pair the old Wien drop liner jacket with a pant called the Wish pant, and it's a fantastic pant. And so we would still recommend doing the same with the Solberg. So Solberg on the top half, Wish pant on the bottom half. You could also, if you wanted, attach this jacket to the Rin leather waterproof pant, if that was your thing. Now, at this stage, it is too early for us to be too effusive about the Solberg. We need to see it in action. But this is Halvarssons, and these guys know what they're doing. They very rarely mess it up. At the time of going to press, the jacket was priced at just under £450, and that represents pretty good value, and that's what we'd expect of Halvarssons. It's that kind of company. The only other drop liner jacket that we could compare to the Solberg would be the Rucker Comfort R. Now, I say we can compare it, but it's actually £200 more expensive. But for that extra £200, you get an extra 4 years warranty. So the calculation that some people would come to is you're paying an extra £50 a year for guaranteed waterproofing. The Rucker pants, by the way, that you would compare with the Wish pants, they would be the Comfort R pants, they're £130 more expensive. You do the maths. The truth is that with either of those two combinations, you can't go wrong. And if you're the kind of rider who does, let's say, between 5,000 and 10,000 miles a year, you're almost certainly better off wearing a drop liner outfit as opposed to a laminated one. Because in our view, it is better to be comfortable for 99 out of 100 journeys than for the 1 out of 100. I have to say that if you can afford the extra outlay of the Rucker outfit, we could make a compelling case for the Comfort R. But there again, the Halvarssons Solberg is pretty compelling too. To see more drop liner waterproof jackets or any kind of waterproof jackets or more Halvarssons gear, visit the website motorlegends.com. If you want to learn more about the Solberg, then if you click on one of the links on the screen, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there, that will take you directly to a dedicated page on the website. Now, when you're there, you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail, you can check on availability, and if you want to buy the jacket, you can do that obviously there and then. When you buy from us, we try to make the process simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protective wear that you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and once more we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. Our price promise is the best in the business. Now, John Lewis was rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold price promise, but we here at Motor Legends go one stage better. If you can find anybody selling anything that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat that competitor's price by a full 10%. Now, there are a few terms and conditions associated with what we call our price beat. Nothing particularly onerous, I assure you, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you go over to the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. If in the future you'd like to receive information from us about new product launches, then we would be simply delighted if you wanted to sign up for our email bulletins, and you can do that by going to the website. There's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on that, within seconds you'll be in business. If, however, you prefer to get your information videographically, that is to say in this form, we'd be simply delighted if you want to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the link below. Finally, I'd like to make mention of our fabulous little shop here at Motor Legends. We are based about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station. And as I've suggested, it's a small shop. It's got a small footprint, but it's attached to our warehouse where we have more than £4 million worth of merchandise arranged over 3 floors. Technically, that makes this the second largest motorcycle apparel shop in the UK. But we think that we are far more than just the amount of merchandise we have here in the building. We're all about service and personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. And when you come to see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of our delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.